Welcome on back to some Joker Tower. We're going to go see what's on this treasure map real quick. Then we're going to try to hurry up and finish this map because I kind of want to go add some things back at the, I don't know, kind of base, home base. But actually, this is turning out to be, oh well. It's kind of counterintuitive going to get this treasure when we're like pinching off like the last bit of map segment that we have to search down there. We still got to search up top, but I left that like that so I would know where the portal is, because if you explore everywhere, then you might not remember where we came out from the nether at, especially after a while. So it's interesting how the treasure maps have like what looks like the continent or the land in just the ambiguous stuff, and then it's almost like how computers used to erase data. Like now they do it a different way, but like it used to be, they would just write over it with something else. But then like you could still kind of, or just depending on how it was, there were ways to reconstruct it, or at least like more or less. Like so, but it's like they superimposed them, or they laid a map over the map, basically. And I actually used to do that too. Like when you want to erase something, if you really want to make it to where nobody can see what it was, you start scribbling something else like on it. So you're basically like writing something else on top of, whoops, where, so it could be anywhere in here. Oh, and there's my portal. I was about to say there's uh, I guess it wouldn't be a ruined portal then if it had the purple in the middle. So, what an odd place to bury treasure. Kind of slowly expand the search outwards and so, but anyways, what I wanted to add to the Joker Tower, basically, we could just say going back to the tower, but I left some people off of the memorial, and that, like, I don't know. It's kind of like a humbling thing to think about, but at the same time, just like showing due respect and living life in honor of those that can't. Like, like do it for them. So, I don't know. If you believe in an afterlife, I mean, there's people that believe that, once you're done, you're done, and I honestly don't know. Like, I'd like to think that, I mean, that's pretty profound, right? Existence, life, and everything after that, but, oh, there we go. Mellow high? Mellow high? Can we stack them? Yeah. And wait, let's take that. I will give you paper. Yes, we can stack that too. Alright, cool. We can't stack that. Alright. It is the same length, but I guess I don't really need the potions. We don't need duplicates of music. We'll just take back. Well, as I say that, copies and whatnot. Yeah, we'll leave it. So, and actually, after this, I plan on going back and checking out the event. So, Minecraft is having an event now. I don't know what it is. It's something about a mystery in the office, I think I saw. But, anyways, so let's go explore the rest of this. And, I don't know, reminiscing about my friend. And what reminded me of it is I just had Indian food. And I think he was Indian, but I don't, I mean, honestly, I didn't care. Like, I mean, I grew up in a very small mountain town that was mostly white and redneck and hillbillyish, but we did have some pretty decent diversity. Like, I mean, we had a couple guys that, in hindsight, now that I've actually met people from like the Middle East and the East and I don't know, like Asia and all that. Like it's interesting. I'm making these connections that maybe the people that I grew up with were actually of a descendant of another place. Like I just kind of, I mean, all I knew was brown, black, white. Like that was it. And then like we kind of had like, mentions. Is that a different one? That's a different one. All right, let's go check it out. Sorry, yeah, very distracted. But anyways, but that's actually how he passed away was because he got beat up. He was, I mean, he was pretty cocky. I mean, like not to justify anything or anything, but like I could see how, ooh, unknown map and treasure map. We need to get some air. I mean, it's never okay to kill somebody because you're ultimately deciding that for them, their right is over. And that's not fair to anybody, for anybody else to decide. Like, accidents, yeah, okay, accidents. But, like, you know, I don't know. It's a little bit heavy. But yeah, no, this guy, like, I don't know. It's just, and it tears me up because it's like, hold on. We weren't even like that close, that close. Like, at the end, we started to, oh man, this might be it. And we started to hang out quite a lot. Like, I mean, we just, in fact, I think he just moved there a couple years before that, or maybe even that year. I don't know. Like, but either way, he was a good dude. I mean, like, in fact, he did this really funny thing. I might say that on a more private channel. Wait, where's my boat? There it is. Oh, and there's an underwater temple, it looks like over there. But, anyways, no, but I mean, like, he actually helped me go to my first ever like real music concert. Like even though he didn't actually end up making it, we pre-partied, we pre-gamed or something, and I forget how that ended up. Like he said he wanted to go or he had to go do something. I think he ended up just hanging out there or something. I don't know, but either way, it was Tech Nine, Cottonmouth Kings, and it was awesome. And I definitely wouldn't have gone, had normally without that kind of motivation. So, and yeah, Cottonmouth Kings tried to get us into their limo. And of course, I was the jealous, like overprotective, because I wasn't used to that. Like, I mean, I went downtown and had fancy dinner with my girlfriend at the time, and there were some dudes in the alleyway like, "Hey, baby," and it's like, "What? Are you kidding me?" Like the complete lack of respect. So I started walking. Anyways, so I mean, I can see how my buddy got into a brawl, and then yeah, bad things happened. So I don't know. It's but the things that I think about, like my other buddy who died at 18. They're both at 18. What am I talking about? Or wait, no. The other one might be a little bit later. So, well, actually, we didn't know. Or no, never mind. So you might have just been. Anyways, sorry. My last memory. Anyways, the invisible conversation back and forth in my head. So, anyways, in honor of people like that, and actually, like the professor that I knew, she was one of my like motivations to kind of, well, just trying to fix the inequality of women in STEM because like there is a big gap, and I looked it up just recently, just because I haven't been to a class in a long time, so I mean I don't know what the current atmosphere is for academia as far as computer science goes, but when I went, there was only a handful of women to like the sea of men, like, and it was just, and I don't think anyone's intentionally doing this. I think it's one of those accidental evils, like where things were of a certain way for so long that a patriarchy formed accidentally, and nobody's really kind of got the gall to correct like the mistakes. And that goes back to the Mary Magdalene and the whole, I've definitely talked about that before, but like, if those gospels were not quote unquote lost or basically ordered destroyed, Mary Magdalene's gospel, and I talked to somebody that, was active in the church currently, and like she told me that it was they were acknowledged that they existed, like they knew they existed, but they weren't included in the main Bible because they weren't considered of God, of the Word. And that's making assumptions that Jesus was God. And so, and I apologize. I sincerely do apologize if I am wrong and we get to an afterlife. If there is an afterlife, okay, first off, if there is an afterlife. Second off, if Jesus ended up being God sent down here, like, I don't mean it in a disrespectful way. I mean it in a logistical and almost kind of the way it has to be kind of way. And it might be a test of faith, call it whatever you want, but, oh, Atlantis? Nice, I guess I got close enough to an undersea temple. Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't see that part, but I felt like the other one was kind of way. I mean, or unless we've come back full circle. Is that another? sunken ship. Either way, we've already got full inventory. We don't need any more stuff. But anyways, and that's what always bothered me about Christianity. Like I grew up Methodist, and I was even an acolyte. I brought the light of Christ in like for several Sundays in a row. Went to this church, the next town over, 30 minutes away. In a town that you basically walked everywhere. In like 30 minutes, you could go back and forth the entire town 3 times. So that was a lot of time, and that was a lot of time out of a weekend. You sit in school all week, you do good, and then what's your reward? Let's go sit somewhere and have somebody tell you. I mean, and the sermons are all right. Like they tell good stories and like try to relate it to current things going on. And like our preacher was a woman, so that was awesome because I didn't realize that wasn't as common. And again, why I'm a little biased to the accidental patriarchy, because again, like I mean, I don't think anyone intentionally, like, I mean, except for going all the way back to when people like the Ice Ages and the Neanderthal days when, and even that, I saw some article recently, like that's kind of actually been proven wrong. Like men were hunters and gatherers too, just as much as the women. But they would go out and try to do the hunt. I mean, and for whatever reason, maybe we had you know, the unfettered testosterone that drove us to be like at least want to feel like we were killing things and doing things, and we would brag on cave walls. That's an interesting idea. Like men really never were as Billy Bad A as people think. I don't know the ego. It's an interesting thing, and a lot of that is like if nobody's there to correct it or like speak up, it might just be generally assumed that like oh that's probably not too true, and everybody knows that, but then not everybody knows that, and so then that's just an accidental evil or just an accidental mix up or I don't know, because even evil, that sounds like I picture Mermaid Man in SpongeBob going evil. Like you can really freak people out, and without the right context and the right sincerity and clarity, like, and that's why written text is so hard because you can't really judge the tone without the nonverbal communication. And I've noticed this, certain people communicate with a lot more emojis and I guess that's more of like understanding, like how what is it? The thumbs up is supposed to be seen as passive aggressive, but in my work we use that a lot to just say like, yeah, I saw that. All right, cool. I mean, like what we figured it would be intended, but part of it's a generational thing, and all this stuff is clashing. But since it's all getting out there in the way of memes and jokes and YouTube, like it's easier to understand that oh wait no there's other possibilities just not, and that's really hard like without being shown ulterior or alternate perspectives. We just kind of go with whatever our brain creates, and even just reading a book and watching a movie, it's incredible how vastly different it all is. And even if they just say things like I read a bunch of Goosebumps and stuff, I read a bunch of Goosebumps to my kids, and like they do a lot of descriptors in there, and it's like I don't pay attention at all because in my mind they're already a person of this and this. It's a kid, whatever, and like this is a kid. Oh, that's a girl or a boy, and that's about as far as I ever really care. And they often turn out to be like a black or brown haired, like faceless child that like it's just basically the broad outline of what I think, and and clothes today are so close anyway as far as kids go that you really doesn't matter all that much. I mean, so I don't know. It's interesting, society as a whole, and just kind of the observational approach to all of this. And I know a lot of this is just mumbling, and I probably have like 50 half-finished thoughts in this one alone. Oh, my buddy would be proud. I really hope there is an afterlife because I mean, I just can't wait. Like, because if there is, I'd go right up to my friends and just be like, "Hey, did you see that?" like, uh, And then if not, no harm, no foul. It's not like I'm out here like burning entire things or like dedicating entire wealth and like burying it away like we used to do, like, Pharaoh's tombs and stuff. We used to bury Futurama really hits it like with that Remember Me episode where Bender wants people to remember him and he thinks that it's so important that like he be remembered as, oh, that's a great guy, because he just think that that's the only goal in life is to have that feeling. And understandably so. Like, you're sitting at the pub and or the bar or whatever, and like, listen to me trying to be like British or something, but you're sitting there having a drink with somebody, and like, they're like, oh, remember so and so? Ah, he was a good so and so. Or, oh, remember so and so? Oh, she was a lot less of the latter, the first, last, former, latter. Anyways, And like, and again, I love that statue at CSU. I can see what I see because I stood on the shoulders of giants, or something like that. But the point is it wasn't just me. It was a group effort. It's always been a group effort. Everything in life is a group effort to a point. Now, granted, the things you do in the privacy of your own home, like on your time, however weird or whatever, like that's on you. But as far as everything else, like the moment you set foot out that door, and really the moment, everything you do to prepare to go outside, like did you eat? Did you sleep good? And it's, and like parents will nag as much as, this and that, but in reality, and now that I am a parent, like now I know, it's like, and actually more specifically, working graveyard shifts that just really destroyed me for a while there. I lost it, and I kept it together pretty well for a long time, but I was also unbalanced because I had a medication because apparently, I have ADHD. But I don't know. That's all fine and good, like the medications for that. But again, South Park, like the Ritalin episode, like, do you really want kids to be zombies? Or, and this is what, like some countries are actually doing, is they're changing the way curriculum is to where it's like, it's more hands-on, more active, more inclusive to that, less sit down, study, read the thing, you have to know all this, like, what are you doing? Something like that. And in fact, in the South Park, the episode, they're like, sit out, shut up and study, or sit down and study, and like they smack them. And so it's like child abuse. It's like, oh God, like, and once upon a time, like we joke about that, but once upon a time, that was a thing, and like it was really dark, like the Indian board or Native American boarding schools, and like I was arguing with this one guy on XApp, and I have no idea. I'm not native. Like one of my uncles said, we might have some sea tribes somewhere, like way tucked back, but definitely not like I couldn't go to a reservation and look up family. But anyways, uh, wow, I went way off on that tangent. But like they used to be very brutal and like deaths, killing like kids and stuff. I don't know. I follow this guy Lakota Man on XApp, and he's shared stuff about it and like just like how brutal a lot of those boarding schools really were, and like they were forced to like worship this god that they didn't understand, and but they worship the creator. Like a lot of native religion is about the creator, like, and saying thank you for the majestic scenery and everything, like nature, basically a bunch of hippies out in like the vast wilderness that was North America. I mean, it still is, but now it's colonized and all changed, and the bittersweet thing is like the whole world is going to that, but it's better to be able to go there themselves rather than be forced. And that's what we're finding out now. And especially with like Taiwan and Ukraine and like all this, and the fact that we still have war. Like, I'm checking my watch. We have war right now. I mean, you'd think growing up, I learned about the Vietnam War and like the Korean War and World War I, World War II, the Civil War. I mean, and those are just the ones where we were major players. Like, there's a vast other set of wars that I don't even like really know about. But again, it's not because one person is different from one place to another. It's just what we will do to ourselves given the wrong circumstances. Like if we allow ourselves to slip into kind of like we're doing now. But I mean, I think this is part of like the Great Reset. I think it started with COVID. Oh, I'm sorry. Oof. I don't want to get a strike again. But like the reset where we completely changed society. I mean, whether intentional or unintentional, it's changed. And so, yeah, as it were. So, yeah, I don't know. It's sorry, thinking about all those. I got a lot of things going on, and I'm excited, nervous, pretty happy overall. I've been giving thanks, and my whole thing, like the whole. I didn't completely disagree with everything I learned in church, but I was just like a lot of that stuff sounds kind of really like the Bible stories. And of course, we'd be little boys talking about, and oh hey, did you hear about this? And not even really all that much. There weren't a lot of kids there. For a lot of times, it was just me and my sister. Like yeah, so there's one other dude which I haven't talked to at all, but. I don't know. It was weird. I mean, you weren't really allowed to talk a lot in church. You couldn't talk during the service, and then afterwards, we were kind of always in a hurry to get out of there because I wanted to get home and get back to my weekend. Like, so I felt like I basically got robbed of a day of a weekend every weekend. So it was all good. Of course, my parents tried to make it up and all that, and like, and I do agree that a lot of the stuff in the Bible is good. I just don't believe that Jesus was God. Like, and it's again, I will apologize to him if that ends up being the thing, but it's caused a lot of problems, like whole Islam, meaning peace, and that's why people, from the Islam perspective, are so confused all the time when they hear, or they seem genuinely confused of why everyone's getting blown up and killed and everything. It's because they are confused. Like they follow a religion of peace with certain principles that say almost the same thing as the Bible. It's like treat other people nicely, be kind, give back to charity, help out poor people, work as a team. Here's how to grow crops. Here's how to do this. Like it's it's not like, hey, screw those guys, they suck. Like, no, there's nothing. I mean, granted, Islam goes a little more violent with how they try to treat things, and so I've heard. I haven't actually read the thing myself, and it's been a long time since I read the Bible. It's a really weird thing to read. Like, your eyes cross over, at least mine do, after like two or three passages, because it's just like, WTF? Well, that's fine, but not really. They cross over because I lose how they're even talking. They talk in like parables and like weird stuff and backwards and like, you know. But the gist of it, be kind. Do unto, and I was even kind of trying to come up with like a golden trio. Like it's like do unto others as you would have them, or you would want done to you, and expect nothing in return. That's the last part. It should be because if you expect that they're not doing it, it's really easy for somebody that grew up in church, to say thank you, please, and hold doors open and all that. And they, people think that's some kind of like rare thing. Up in the mountains, you do that anyway because guess what? You're probably seeing that same person five more times that day. Like if you mess up, if you disrespect them, you get to go talk to them again. Like, because there is instant accountability. Like, there's nowhere else to go. It's a mile across the entire BV, and like Salida's only slightly better. And even those were a bunch of fancy yahoos that had the county seat. We didn't really like Salida. Like, we were bitter, we were jealous, and that's that envy, which Bible says don't do. So it's. Wait a minute. Okay, I was gonna say, and the dolphin might actually take it. That happened before. It was kind of a scarring moment because I was, always like chilling with the dolphins. They're pretty cool until he took my boat and ran away with it. And I'm like, oh no, hey, wait, I needed that. And like, granted, it's not that bad to just punch a tree, even if I didn't have an axe or anything. Punch a tree. Again, South Park has an episode where they do that. But anyways, uh, I could have built a new boat. Is what my point was. I didn't need to be that traumatized by a dolphin playing keep away. So, anyways. But in honor and out of respect to the people that have passed away is why like I obsess so much. I do. I feel like I have this sense, this moral duty to make it to where as little as possible of that same nonsense happens, that same shenanigery. Or chicanery. I think it's more better chicanery because shenanigery implies like cheeky fun. Thinking about Super Troopers right now, like, cheeky fun. Well, Farva is like sad and brutal or whatever. And he ends up like overdoing it at first. I mean, again, don't want to spoil anything. Go out and check it out. But I am a walking advertisement. Broken Lizard, too. They also have that Club Dread. That was funny. But I think Super Troopers was definitely better a better job. Like I think Club Dread, like since they weren't playing cops, I don't know. It just now they, yeah. I guess, and again, that's my perspective superimposed over them. So that's not really all that fair. So like laugh, funny boy, make me laugh, tell a joke to every comedian when you see them in public when they're just trying to like go get groceries or whatever. Like, make me laugh, funny boy, make me laugh. Like, I get it. Also, I gotta be careful. I'm like yelling, and this house isn't all that super insulated, and my voice carries. It's really bad when I'm yelling at the. I don't yell much. I barely ever raise my voice, but when I do, it's like boom. So. I remember what one of my buddies used to do. He'd like walk up and like right in your ear, just go, just like to mess with you. Anyways. So how about them Broncos? I guess they won yesterday. I feel bad. I don't watch a lot of football, and I know somebody who plays football. I just haven't. I just don't. I went back and watched his plays, and that was cool. But fandom is just so hard for me. I think for a lot of people that have experienced like video games and stuff, like once you see, it's like the truth tortoise on Rick and Morty. Like once you see what's possible, you kind of get bored with like what is. Like once you see what can be, you get bored with what is. I mean, I guess is the best way to put it. Not the best way. The best way right now. Again, one of those things where you almost feel like you don't have to clarify, but you might as well because you might have to. Again, like when you see somebody 5, 6 times a week and you say something that didn't make a lot of sense, they're going to come back and ask you, hey, what did you mean by this? And then you're like, oh, well, what is it? And that could be like, they could be stewing all week because it could take a long time before, oh, let's see. Oh, wait. Um, I completely forgot about that. We'll put it in the box. So anyways, um, oh man, that's dangerous. Look how far that goes down. We got to do it to a point, but like, I feel like that's death. Yeah, that could be. If you just went running all unexpected, like you could die in this type of biome, which is weird. Usually, you'd think it'd be like the harsher, cold blizzard, whatever. Anyways, hi, welcome to Joker Town. Sorry, I just got way distracted there. Oh, and I need to change that avatar. I don't know if I really like the robot bee thing, or maybe that's the Hornet, I think, from Ant-Man. I don't even know. The cape's cool. It's got pancakes. Let's see. And I have no idea how I got that. Like, I think it's like supposed to be super rare or something my son was saying, but then like I haven't really done much except for I try to do the events, you know, out of respect for Mojang. They do so much, and this game is still one of my favorite games. Like, and I've played tons of games. It's just the simplicity of it. The completing tasks over and over. It's like gambling, but without the harsh realization that you lost your family's savings and stuff. And, you know, and just the idea that we do that, like, you know, we need to take what we learn from gangster movies and be like, you know what? Maybe that wasn't the best idea. Maybe that's not so great. Or maybe we need to rein it in a little bit with that. So, I don't know. But I am seeing a nice big trend of like the people that really do have the money and the power, like they are trying to, well, just Bill Gates. Like I am subscribed to his newsletter, his and his ex-wife, I guess. Well, either way, his partner, former partner. There you go. And that vernacular is getting better too. Just how we say companions, partners, like just leave it ambiguous. Like don't put too much pressure on labels. I remember that from like, you know, puppy love days. Like, oh my gosh, are you boyfriend and girlfriend? And then it's like, oof, that's like marriage light, you know, like that's some commitment right there. I had such a hard time telling people I love them too. It was just like, oh, now I don't. I mean, I express it more freely and stuff, but it's just like before it was like, that's a lot of pressure, you know, like if you say you love somebody, that's because I watched so much Disney and they would joke about that. But the way that I received it was like, kind of took it seriously. Like they know so much about all this other stuff. I'm going to take their word on, you know, when it becomes serious, then it's serious. And why would serious mean anything other than serious? You know, it's just, again, the relevancy, like not frequency, but the magnitude of the relevance, like how intense or non-intense is it? You know, how mild or benign is it versus how intense or concerning is it? If that makes sense. And we are almost done. Just these last few dots. And we'll go add BD on the wall. Not that I'm excited about that, but I'm excited that I remembered, because if it was me and I was floating around up there waiting for old A-Rye down there to make another episode before I got my recognition, like I'd be like, what's up, man? What's the deal? So that's just the people I know about. Like I shudder to think like who, you know. It's sad. It's really messed up, but Oh, and actually, I guess I should say. So I've been really hard on the quote unquote victim in my assault case back in the day. But like, if he were to actually like reach out and try to apologize, like I think we could start the mending process. But for those that don't know, check out my Snoop Dogg Fortnite playlist. Okay, you don't have to. I'll just tell you here. I got into a physical altercation with a good friend and a roommate, but it turned ugly. I didn't approve of what he was doing. Nobody really does, but basically drugging and taking advantage of people. And I say people because I honestly don't know, but definitely a lot of women. And I usually say sorority girls because that's what I just kind of know them as. They were sorority girls, like, kind of like frat boys, sorority girls. Like during that time, they did get that little bit of disrespect like thrown at them, and I never meant it in a disrespectful way, just like an identification way, just like law enforcement with skin colors. Like most of the time, like the well-intentioned, like I didn't mean it in a derogatory or negative way. If anything, you're meaning it in a negative way. You're extra sensitive just because of the accidental friction. There you go, accidental friction. That's a better way to say it. Oh man, hold on. Let's get back to the nether portal and then we'll call this one. But because it's not like someone's out there like wringing their hands like, yeah, I'm gonna go be racist or like, no. That sounded really messed up even just saying that, but like that's the reality of it. It's like I was raised this way. Everybody I know kind of talks this way and has this general attitude, and then it just kind of gets carried on and like accidental. And then those that don't like stand up, hey, you don't got to like kick a table over and stand up for the righteous and be like, no, this is what we're gonna do. Also, real quick, I did pop in here into a geode and I marked it because that was where the original one is. We're gonna use this one, and actually let's leave that treasure maps for if I ever want to come back and do that. But anyways, actually, I'll do another one. Hold on. So, ta-ta for now. I will see you in the next one. Let's wait till we load in. All right, see you there.